There are two sorts of stock return. First is the fundamental and second is the speculative. Fundamental earnings is the result of earnings growth of the company, and speculative earnings is when there is a change in sentiment in the market. Let me explain you with numbers. Suppose at present the EPS of the stock is 10. Price per earnings, that is price of the stock divided by EPS, which means price the investors are willing to give to a company for 1 rupee of earnings, that is 20 today. So the stock price of the company is PE into earnings per share, that is 200. In scenario 1, there was 20% of earnings growth. That means the EPS of the company has grew from 10 to 12. The PE ratio is still 20, that makes the stock price as 240. Assuming that there was no speculative earnings, the fundamental earnings was 20%, speculative earnings was 0, so the total earnings was 20%. Now in scenario 2, company had 20% of growth that made the sentiment of the company change. That is, P ratio grew from 20 to 25. Now people are willing to pay 25 for per earnings. That means the stock price has become 300. The fundamental earnings were 20% and speculative earnings were 30%. That made the total stock return as 50%. Now in scenario 3, even though earnings had a 20% of growth, P ratio became 15. That could be because the sector might have lost the favor, or the investor might have become pessimist, or the earnings might not have been up to the expectation of the investors. And that's why the stock price is 180. Here the fundamental earnings were 20%, speculative earnings were minus 30%, so the total stock earnings were minus 10%. So the total stock return is earnings growth plus PE re-rating or minus PE de-rating plus dividend yield. Dividend yield is dividend income received from the company as an earning. So this total becomes our stock return.